Hi, my name is Daryle Brown, and I happen to serve here at Trinity United Church of Christ as their Director for Social Justice and IT. But I'm here to talk a little bit about my story as a caregiver. About 3 years ago, we got a call from my sister-in-law who was caring for Mom in Detroit. And I say caring for because Mom lived independent at that point in time. She lived in a house next door to Mary, my sister-in-law, and Mary explained that there were things going on that perhaps Mom needed another level of care. Essentially, she had started wandering down the street at night, and probably most importantly, she forgot how to make coffee. So we knew that there was a different level of care needed that Mary couldn't really provide. So we moved her from Detroit into our home in Chicago with my wife and I. Now the interesting thing, well, I'm not going to say the interesting thing, just to talk a little bit about the progression of Alzheimer's dementia. When Mom first moved in with us, she was very capable. She could dress herself, she could wash herself. She was still smoking cigarettes, so she could smoke cigarettes out on the back porch. She could do most things herself. I mean, we were concerned about the potential of her maybe getting out at night or getting up in the middle of the night, getting into things, but it was very manageable. We did have a caregiver coming into the house when we were at work, but the fact was that she was pretty independent and pretty easy to care for. But this ailment, it moves fairly rapidly. It didn't take too long before those things that made her easy to take care of, being able to dress herself, being able to wash herself, being able to go to the bathroom by herself without my wife or I being in the bathroom with her to be able to give her instructions every step of the way. My wife likes to say she can only handle one instruction at a time. If you tell Mom to pull down your pants and pull down your underwear, that's too much. If you were to tell her to take the pills and then use the water to drink it down, she's no longer able to do that. It's like aging backwards, gradually but inexorably. One of the things that I have to remind myself of is that right now, the stage she's at, it's like a 3-year-old. And I have to remind myself to talk to her like a 3-year-old. I have to remind myself to bring the type of patience to the relationship that you would with a toddler. It doesn't make sense to get angry because she can't help it. But God. I want to talk a little bit about the blessings that God has granted us to provide some level of mental stability. The first blessing is that I have a wonderful wife and partner. Cecile has taken on a partnership in this responsibility that, quite frankly, I could not do it without her. The other blessing is that I have an employer that provides the type of flexibility that you need. Sometimes you're in and out, sometimes you gotta be home. I think there's probably some positiveness that this all happened during COVID when we were all working at home. That created a certain kind of flexibility of its own. The other blessing is of friends and family. They are so important that they chip in when called. You know, caregivers need breaks. And if you have a a friend or a relative that is caring for a child with special disabilities or a aging loved one, you will be amazed at the blessing that your time, your assistance will be in their lives. And then the last one I don't want to mention is the blessing of Sister Phyllis Tyler. Phyllis is Trinity's own caregiving angel. She's the chairperson of our caregiving support group, and she is an absolutely priceless resource. Her advice and counsel were critical in us understanding the social service system in the way that there's a lot of support that you can get. I mean, right now we actually have 2 days a week where my mom gets to go to adult daycare. A van comes and picks her up at 8, drops her off at 4. And then we also get 36 hours a week of in-home caregiving services. And all of this is paid for by the state. And frankly, when we first had Mom home, we were paying out of our pocket for caregiving support. This caregiving support from the state is absolutely incredible. And this is just one of the things that Sister Tyler kind of walked us through to make sure that we could take advantage of all the services that were available to us. In the end, at the end of the day, this is probably life's most difficult assignment yet for me. And frankly, it's only made possible by God's blessings.